This week, our first one is Roll on the Range. Now, okay, so let's take a look at the thing we're going to take a look at this week on Kickstarters is the About Us section. Okay, so real quick, these guys did a great job with this. It is all the way down here. Here we go. That's it. Clean, to the point, not a giant story, because really the story is about their game, right? So let's take a look at this game. Now, Roll on the Range is a roll and draw game. Okay, there's a couple things I like. First of all, this graphic up here, graphic design is very nice. The actual game, there it is. That's it. It's that and dice. I mean, and obviously a pencil, I guess. Okay, so dice, pencil, and this. There is a lot of tough choices to make in this game. So you roll the 2 dice, and you roll several dice, and then there's cards for each of the types of actions that you can take, which is really just the individual types of animals, and then there's a county fair. And you basically go through the game choosing where to put your animals. Okay, and there's a fence action. So as you can see, if you roll the dice here, so if you took this 4 pig, that means that in the 4 column, you'd have to place a pig. I also like the fact that you have to draw your little animals, which I'm sure can turn into a game delaying tactic. I know I would start getting really weird with the animals. So you score by how many, so there's a bunch of different scoring options. I really don't need to break this whole thing down. These guys actually have their rules up. You have special goals, and then you have like the main goals that are on the board, where you will earn points based on how many animals you have penned off, how many pens you have, sort of like how in Welcome to, if you had a block of 2 houses and then 2 blocks of 3 houses, things like that. What's really great about the game is, as you play it, if there's nothing available to you, if you don't want to take any of the actions, or you physically can't, like I said with the 4 with the pig, if you already have a pig in the 4 column and nothing else available, well then you're hosed. Except this game has a nice mitigation that if you can't do anything, you can opt to take a coin, and then you use the coins to purchase all of these things down here, and every one of these things can change the game. And then over here you have the total amount of animals, and then once one of these is filled up, it's like it starts a game-ending trigger. And then going to the fair, when you fill these up, some of these sections have a little bottle under them. Let's see if they show the little baby bottle. Yeah, so in here, this is like a little baby bottle, these things. So if you fill in the fair and get that gives you a free animal of your choice that you can put in there. Pretty straightforward. It has all the things I like, that it's simple, you can pick it up quickly, and it gives you a lot of choices that are difficult without being, you're not going to agonize. It's just you realize, this is all, I can't, this is the only thing that's available. Oh no. So right now, these guys are sitting at 2,700. We could probably get that up. 442 people behind this. That's pretty solid. I should also mention, okay, let me come off of the screen for you. This is something I should have pointed out as soon as we started. I was unavailable last week, and I thought maybe I should just not do this week's and just start fresh in the second week of June. But then I realized that's doing a disservice to anybody who's launched something. Not that my channel is really making an impact on anybody at this point, but if it could, I would want it to. So there's going to be a lot of content this week, because I'm going to do 2 of these. I'm also adding in a couple. This is where my buddy Darren, who explicitly asked me not to mention him in the opening. So, oops. Me talking about production is not his favorite thing. But so we're going to be doing 2 of our crowdfunding live streams. Then I'm going to be putting up the the segments in chunks as regular videos in case you don't want to watch the whole thing, which I understand. You may not want to sit here for, hour, 2 hours waiting to see what's happening. Totally understand that, and trying to help you guys out with that. So things are going to be a little different this week. All right, so going back to Roll on the Range. Let me get my chunk head out of there. So they're at 2,700, 442. I think they're doing really well, but they could do a lot better, right? So let's help them out, guys. All right. Next up, we have 1978, The Night They Came Home, which is just as creepy as it sounds. If I could ever throw back. There we are. Okay. So this is a fantastic idea. This is a print and play if you want, or you can purchase it. But what's really cool is it uses a standard deck of cards in order to make actions happen. It's a horror story. It's sort of like a D&D-esque type of game. What I find most interesting is that you can you'll create a hunted and a haunted is the phrase they use. So your serial killer is chasing a character. Well, they have this set up that you can have this take place over many episodes or many decades, a la Halloween. As you can see, there's a definite Halloween vibe going on in here. Really neat concept. There's a solo version of it that I mean, obviously, even when you're playing with multiplayer, you're creating the scenarios. You're telling the story based on the outcome. So you'd be doing the same thing solo. I just think in the solo, it's going to take a lot more imagination and creative storytelling. But I think it would be useful if you were trying to come up with stories that maybe you want to use elsewhere. And this would be a great device for crafting your own stories in this kind of milieu, if you will. Not a lot here, but that's fine. I mean, look, the pledge reward is $5 for support. I'm sorry, for support. It's $20. You get the whole thing, everything you need right there. With my head in the way. I always do that. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I can't. There we go. So, right there, I think this is an interesting concept. Let's take a look at how they place their team. Here we go. Look at this. Down at the bottom where it should be. Get a little of their custom art for them. Got some data that you can follow to connect to them. This is a great presentation of the About Us section. I think this is a really good job. I will say the theme is not up my alley just because my horror stuff, I tend to prefer it to be told to me as opposed to me creating the story. But I know that I'm in the minority there in the horror camp, I'm sure. I know there's plenty of people that would love to tell their own stories in a space like this. So here we are. They're at just under 10 grand, 221 people. Let's get them some more love, guys. All right, next up, we have Naughty or Nice. Okay. This is a reprint. I should say reprint, a relaunch. So Naughty or Nice, they decided to come back with a better approach. And I gotta say, I love this thing. To be fair, I kind of have a soft spot for Christmas anything. So, and hey, Christmas with, what is this? I'm not going to remember it. The creature that knocks on your door and you have to, what do you have? Do you have to tell it a story or sing a song? I can't remember what it was, but yeah, so they have a lot of basic American Christmas elements, but they also incorporate how other cultures represent their Christmas. So they have Saint Nicholas, they have Krampus, But essentially, the game is it's a set collection game, so rummy-esque. So you get let me get to a screen here that'll help you. Maybe I won't. I was hoping for a tabletop screen. See, I watched a video on this, so I didn't see it. So basically, you get presents you draw for your hand, and then there'll be these little kiddo cards, and they need certain kinds of presents, and those certain types are really just color based. So there's like red here is a hat, but red can also be other things, which matters because your character has certain abilities. And I saw that one of them was you get points every time you give someone a red hat. So you can give red presents, but if you specifically give a red hat, you get points with them. And so it's really just sort of a points tracker for a rummy set collection event. But with external elements, you can bring in, let me check my notes here. Oh yes, so sometimes you can collect some of the external people like elves and fairies and whatnot, and you can put them to use. And some of them have a take that kind of aspect to them, which is not my favorite thing, I'll be honest. But it broadens the options for play. The only complaint, I don't want to say it's a complaint, my only comment here, you can't really see it. The only thing is, I think this is actually it over here. They have a board that you track your current points on, and it just kind of seems superfluous. Like it's like this big board in the way, and all you're doing is tracking your points. Like we could just eliminate that, save some table space, and just have a linear tracker for your individual points. I think that would be simpler, but I get that they're making it, trying to give it a theme and put more of the theme present on the table. I do like that the way you make your set collection is when you give those kids what they want, the kids have a little colored dot in the corner that indicates what suit they are, and then when you get enough of them, then that's a set that you collect. I like the idea that you're a version of Santa Claus that is out there winning over the kids by getting them the things that they want for Christmas. It's just fun. And it's Christmassy. Come on, I love Christmas. All right. Next up, we have the Mad Alchemist. And let me see if I have my notes here for you. All right, so it's real simple. They created 3 dungeons, and it's $3. I don't need to do a hard sell here for you. I mean, it is what it is. It's 5th edition compatible. What I thought was neat was that they had everything was already like laid out. You have actual dungeons, but they have 2 things I thought were really interesting. Okay, first of all, they have, according to them, they have a new version of the Mimic. So in this, the Mimic isn't just going to be a trunk, which I think that's interesting. I would love to see what that actually is. Secondly, there's a pledge level here that will allow you, it's like $34, again, fat head. No fat head. Here we go. Where is it? Boom. It's at the bottom. Of course it is. Here it is. Confront the Mad, $33. Confront the Mad Alchemist. This is, you get to play one of the maps over virtual tabletop with one of the creators. I mean, that is literally a no-brainer for $33 if you really have an interest in this. I really don't know what to say. I think that's fantastic. If anything, I think that it should cost more, and I think that they should have more slots for it, because I think they only have, what is it? Yeah, they're only going to let 5 people. They should have like 20 or 30 of these things, spread them out over the year, and it should be like $50. Not that I'm saying Sorry, I know we don't all don't want to spend more money, but I would gladly pay $50 if I was interested in something like this to play with the people who actually made the game and talk to them about it. That would be incredible. Okay, so it's easy. It's $3 just to do it. For $3 you get the wow. You think I'd be a little more together today? I'm so tired. Okay, so at the three, you get all 3 dungeons, a printer-friendly PDF version, and with the stretch goals. Now, the $5 level is where I really think it sings, because that's where you get the color version. And I don't know. I mean, it's up to, there it is. So there's the Mimic. They're saying, hey, it doesn't have to be a chest. It could be something else. I like that. So here's the $3 pledge. And then here's the $5 pledge. I mean, come on. For an extra $2, I mean, I know it's a PDF and you got to print it yourself, but still, like, that is a lot of value for $2 to have a color. And, you know, so you got a low ink version, and then you got a full color version if you want to use it. I think that's great. So let's move on. Our next one up is Tussle for Victory. And this is, I'm just going to say it, this one's a little unusual. Okay, so I can't believe that we have another racing campaign that I'm bringing to you guys. But this one is unique for a couple of reasons. Okay, so the basic concept is you draw your own racetrack. And then on that paper, so it has to be within a certain scale. And then on that paper, you use, draw your own. Let me get down to, this is, okay, so I'll get to the other part, since we're getting inundated with the final thing that I think is really unique. So this is you get the game, and then you get STL files to print your racers. And these racers, I mean, if you can do that, that'd be great. But even if you just want to, you could do a token representation of them. But what is great is every racer has abilities and a strength and a defense. And I love these designs. These are so funny. So, Dresmo Drag. Okay. There's another. Okay, where's the one? Okay, I love this guy. Little Cthulhu, Babin. Little Cthulhu, who's just apparently just floating. That's how he gets there. And then we got a mermaid in a motorized bathtub. Come on. That is clever and creative. Aquimara. Then we got the knight on a rocking horse, right? So all of them are of this ilk. And there are so many. Let me throw here. Does it state? I don't know where it states it, but I'm telling you, it's easily over 25 of these little dudes. Okay. As you can see, it just keeps going. Look at this. We got 2 dwarves and I don't want to say the wrong thing. There's so many. I don't know anything about construction equipment. I'm sorry. It's not, I feel it on the tip of my tongue. What do we got here? Mimic car. Oh, here we go. Mimic right back in. What car are you talking about? Nice. Okay. Please. Okay, I'm just going to have to grab and pull. I will say, okay, this would be my one complaint about this Kickstarter is this is too much of these. I love them. They're adorable. This is great. You get a nice feel for their sense of humor and whatnot. That's great. But this is too much page to go through to get to the actual game. That is the one problem I have with this Kickstarter. Now, so these are the some of the guides, but They had a better representation further down, I believe. And again, this is, as you can see, it just keeps going. This is not a good call, guys. You're making it really hard for people to understand what you're doing, and this is actually a really cool idea. It shouldn't be this hard to find it. And apparently, it was in their rule book. So, the way it works is it's basically X-Wing. It's like X-Wing miniatures on the board. So you have straights, curves, hard turns, and about faces. And so you have to, and then as you can see on the front and back, you have little guides, just like in X-Wing miniatures. So you lock that in, place the you want to, so, and you know your speed by the gear you're in, and you can change your gear each turn. And so if you're in third gear, then you have to take the 3 turn, put it in, lock it into the front of those 2 tines there, and then pick your little racer up and put it at the front, and then slot the rear tines into the end of that maneuver. And so depending on the race track you've designed, you could go careening into a wall, or you could swing right past someone. See, this is some crazy dodge thing that you can do. And here's your the different gears up to 5, and then neutral. Obviously, you're not going anywhere. And then you spin these dreidel-esque things in order to determine if you like collisions and negative outcomes or attacks. And I mean, that's really just it. I mean, the big draw here. Well, actually, there's a bunch of things that are a good draw here. One, you get to design your own track. I mean, that may not be your thing, but I can't imagine it would be hard to do or to download a design off of the web. And then, or just like set up weird little obstacles on your table and do this. And all you really need to print out, I would say, would probably be the guides, though I'm sure you could get print out a paper version of it. That'll work just as well. Just get some stiff paper, and then you're off to literally the races. You get your little guys, and also you play with 2 characters. You when you race, you have 2, so it's a team. So it's like this combat racing flight sim, essentially. I think it's a really neat idea. I've never seen anything like that. I think it's pretty cool. So, but let me get us back up here. Where are they? So, big head. 3,800, 113 people. I am confident that we can do better than that for them. So let's give it a shot, guys. And let me just make sure I'm on the right one. Okay, so next up, we have Silicone Battlemats, which, I know, it's not a game. It's an accessory. But I gotta tell you, I love these things. Okay, real quick though, I do need to point out that we're kind of dialing in here on some rules for being a FunderDog, and a goal of 50 is kind of at the upper limit of what we would consider a reasonable FunderDog. Like at that point, you're leaning into the max selects and super funded zone. It's not a big deal. Just trying to point out that we're learning as we go here as well. But that's a pretty high minimum. However, they are including shipping in this, if you can believe it, which is fantastic. But also, these things are great. AJ Pickett here, watched the video. He's got a really nice sense of humor, and this is it. You get your choice of 3 colors. You can get single-sided, which will be square. You can get dual-sided, which the back of it will have hexes. They're all 1 inch. There's different sizes total, like overall width and length. And they're made of silicone. So You can draw on them like you see up here with dry erase markers to create things. And because of silicone, you can, as they really like to point out here repeatedly, it's in the video, you can cook with these things. They're basically baking sheets, just designed for gaming, which I think that would be very funny if everybody were to come over and you were to bring out a sheet of cookies, put the cookies out on a plate, and then go ahead and play a game on the mat. That would be quite the talking piece, I would say. But yeah, I think these are great, and the price is reasonable. It's about $34 here, and you get, that's with shipping. I just can't believe that. And a big, thick silicone mat, like you could, even if you end up not using it for this, you can end up using it in your kitchen. There's actually some comments in there from people stating that they had to buy extras because some significant others took these and turned them into a go-to item in their kitchen, which is very funny to me. All right, next up, we have 20 bounties and most wanted. Okay, so this is an add-on. I just thought this was really cool that these are bounties that you can just add to any one of your games. What I liked was they have this a great amount of detail, some good design, great art, and these are like, I don't know. This has always been one of my favorite parts of any kind of video game or a board game. Just those one-off, like, hey, let's go take down this like really notorious individual, right, and get some special reward for that, and then continue on. I love that kind of thing. I love that addition. They have you can print out tokens because they have the art form, which is really nice. But here's the thing that I really, really like: the wanted posters. I think those are great. I really do. And then for $3, you get the PDF and for all the content basically, and then the ability. Oh, sorry, right there. You get all of the information on the bounties as well as the images that you can use to make the minis. That's great. $3. Come on, $3. It's no big deal, right? I don't know why I keep finding these things and loving them so much, but this is just what's happening, folks. So, right now they are, they're only at 280, 58 people. Come on, I feel like this is a no-brainer, just a little addition, just something you could have in your back pocket to spice up a night. Toss in a little extra for your players. Seems really cool to me. All right, next up, we have Ocean Pods. Now we're back into gaming territory. Okay, so first off, I love the art. I think it's beautiful. I like the watercolor nature of this. It has it's like set collection with dice in an interesting way. But the one thing that is thematically appropriate is I'll show you right here, is there's like this pollution counter that impedes your ability to do things, and the only way to eliminate it generates a pollution counter, and the only way to get rid of the pollution counter is for somebody to essentially give up their turn to remove it. And from what I could see in the rules, there's no benefit to the person who does that. Everybody else benefits by you removing that, so then they can continue playing. But since this is a competitive game, there's no incentive to do that. And while I get that this is just thematically on point, right? There's no immediate benefit to anybody cleaning up the ocean or doing cleaning up trash or finding a better way to eliminate it. There's no off the cuff direct benefit to doing that. There's only secondary benefits, and this is why it isn't happening. That's why it's easier to just pollute and keep doing what you're doing. So it's a really in-your-face way of demonstrating that. I'm not sure how I feel about it as a game mechanic. However, I still think it's a really neat idea. I love the game itself plays out in a really fun way with you using dice to collect the stuff that these animals would eat in order to, so krill, crustaceans, pinnipeds, cephalopods, and fish, you see, and then you gotta collect those. So you get those cards, and then you can collect that particular creature. It plays out like it makes a lot of sense. There's a pretty heavy RNG factor, but I would definitely pick this up. It would be fantastic in a classroom. It'd be great for playing with a kid. Give them kind of a clear, a straightforward understanding of some of the issues with pollution and ocean life. So that's why it's in here. I think it's got a lot of good things that it does, and it has a purpose, and I think that's a great idea. It has 135 backers. It's already cleared, but like I said, 135 people, that's not a lot. I gotta believe there's, at least 100 more classrooms that could use this. So any teachers out there, jump in on this. All right, so next up, we have the party mix, which I pressed the wrong button, and we're still in the games. What I like about it's a trivia game. Look, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't really already know, but what I liked was the questions are very tongue-in-cheek. So here we go. What is a spider most likely to do when it comes into contact with humans? A, bite. B, build a web. C, die. D, run off to its shelter and clean itself of germs. I'm pretty sure the answer is actually D, only because I think I saw that in school somewhere. So this game has like a limited shelf life in the sense that there's 100 questions. You're going to eventually know them all. But it can start a lot of conversations. Even if you don't want to play it as a game, you could use it. I know I lean a lot on the kid thing, but this would be a great thing to, pull out a couple of these and, do a quick 10-question quiz with a kid, and it could start an interesting conversation about something like, seriously, do spiders run off? And then you go look that up and, maybe learn a little bit more about arachnids. That'd be neat. So I think, the design is great. It is a really good graphic design. I keep doing this. Here we go. And yeah. So here we go. $25. See, there's still early birds left. I can't believe that. Look, it's $25 there. If you don't get that, it's $29. It's a bunch of facts. It's a bunch of facts that a kid would love to learn. And you could, and it could be a fun game, for, a pizza night. Do that, before the big reward for the evening. I don't know. I think it's great. They need a little love. There's only 25 backers. Come on, folks. Again, low cost, great idea. Oh, let's check out their about themselves. So, who are the creators? Here we go. Ooh, that's pretty high up. I'm looking over here on the side there. We're pretty high up the thing. Let's take a look. What's going on below that? Yeah, it's a little high up for the about us. Talking about yourself before all the other things that you're going to do for us. Again, this is just my perspective, but I'm a big fan of going right to the bottom above the risks and challenges because that lets me scroll all the way down, because usually you can just hit risks and then just scroll up a little, and there it is, to learn about who's making this, get an idea of them. Because in the end of the day, this is really, you're making the games for people, not for yourself, I guess, is the approach that I take, or at least I took when I started Kickstarters that completely failed. So maybe don't listen to me. Anyway, but they did do a nice job with their description. I love when somebody uses their own art to paint a picture of themselves on these campaigns, and they're very off the cuff and what should I say, non-pretentious with their description of themselves and what they're doing. They're just like, hey, it's us. I like that. And hey, if you got some kids, this would be a great thing. So maybe try it. Next up, we have Overlooked Creatures of the Backwoods. And again, we're in supplement zone. So, this is a little over 10 creatures that you can bring into one of your games. What I really liked is there is a ton of information about each one of these things. It's a nice little illustration. They have a little joke, a little thing about what happens on when one of these creatures rolls a nat 1, or when you roll a nat 1 during an attack. And hey, you can get it from DriveThruRPG. So basically, I believe it's as soon as this thing is over, you get a voucher. So here's the at the $20 pledge, you can make one of your own and submit it, and it'll be included. That's pretty cool. So you just get straight up a PDF fulfilled by DriveThruRPG. It does not get any simpler than that. And DriveThruRPG, they do a really good job. I have used them repeatedly. And what are we looking at here for minus the fat head? We are sitting at 131. Come on, guys. We can do better. I mean, he's already reached his goal, but he put some work into this. Let's get this rolling for this individual. All right. That was our final FunderDog.